What's going on, guys? We are here today with another deck profile. I'm going to do a Thunder Dragon deck profile video today. This is mostly inspired. I thought it was kind of interesting because a couple of builds look like they topped at the YCS. It was a couple weeks ago. I forget what the name of the guy was, but he topped with Thunder Dragons, I think top 32. And I've actually never played. I was on one of my hiatuses during when this deck was actually like top tier. So I wanted to try and put something together with it in my typical fashion of building a deck like, 3 formats after it's like, the best deck. So I looked around a lot of deck profiles, sort of put my own twist on things. I think it's pretty fun. I think, like, Colossus being banned is kind of necessary, at least right now. Maybe in the future, depending on how things go, we might be able to get it back. So a little sad I didn't get to play with Colossus, at his prime, but I still think the deck has some viability, and it's pretty fun. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the profile. If you guys do enjoy the video, please give a like, and let me know in the comments down below what other deck profile videos you'd like to see, what other videos you'd like to see. Got something coming up soon on Dual Overload. They leaked a bunch of stuff. I'm waiting for the full leak to happen, which I think is going to be in a couple of days. I think Farfa is supposed to leak the entire thing. So once we have a full set list to work with, we'll take a look at some cards, because there are some really cool reprint. I mean, obviously Impermanence and some other stuff that's already announced. So let's jump into the deck, though. Triple Aloof Lupine and 2 Batteryman Solar. So these are basically like your normal summons for the deck. I don't think I'm really breaking any new ground here. I've seen some people go 3 and 2 or 2 and 2. I think Lupine is the best opening play the deck has, but I also think Solar is just really good in terms of dumping stuff, setting up combos. So that's my ratio that I'm happy with. I was going 2 and 2, but I just found I wasn't opening Lupine enough. And because I'm playing Allure of Darkness, this one won out because I wanted to be able to maximize my Allure targets just in case, you're dead drawing anything. So that's basically your opening play. And then for the Thunder Dragon monsters, a lot of this, again, kind of standard. You got triple Thunder Dragon Dark, triple Roar, triple Thunder Dragon, the main guy. It's kind of funny because this card's still like just really good in terms of being able to trigger Titan's effect and just thinning the deck as well. And then double Hawk. This is one where like I was going to play 3. I've kind of gone back and forth. Some of the builds I've seen when I was just trying to sort of educate myself on how exactly the deck functions were playing 3. I think 2 is a pretty good number. It is your best sort of like, being able to get that hand reset. Opening Hawk is great, but I think I'm pretty happy with these numbers. I mean, I'm at exactly 40 right now. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. That could change. I think if I find it to be a little bit more necessary, I could tweak those numbers a bit. 2 Matrix, and then 2 Thunder Dragon Duo. So I think Duo is really good, especially now. It's another Chaos element for the deck. It's 3,100 if you activate any Thunder Dragon effect, including, if you use him, he's 36. It can pretty much get over the majority of your problems, as well as having an effect that allows you to take any banished card that you have and put it on the top or bottom of the deck. So, like, if it does last till your opponent's end phase, you can put a Gold Sark on top of the deck. You can utilize all those things. And because it does say must first be special summon, you do have the ability to revive this. So that's pretty cool, too. Like, you can bring it back with Thunder Dragon Hawk, and there's just some neat combo pieces to it. And as far as the other, I guess you say 1-ubs, I've got 1 Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. I was playing BLS as well. I ended up taking it out for the time being. I'm thinking about putting it back to 1 and playing 1 of each, but I do think just Legionnaire as well as the duos gives you a decent balance, but I don't want to have too many Chaos Reliant cards in the deck where I'm not able to kind of maximize my plays. You want to reduce the dead draws as much as possible with this. And then for the hand traps, I got 2 DD Crow and triple Nibiru. Nibiru is just an insanely good card. I don't think I need to say too much about this. I was going to play Ash, and then I decided on DD Crow. 1 being because it's a dark that you can discard to grave, so it does set up your chaos plays while still being, incredibly disruptive against the majority of decks. 2 being just the fact that going second, which is obviously what this deck's primary focus is, DD Crow is just a really good opener, and it can disrupt, the Shadal combos. It can disrupt some of the other decks too, even some rogue deck options, and I think we'll see more of, this card's use going forward because it just becomes increasingly good the more graveyard-reliant decks there are. So that's the full monster lineup. The only change I've considered, aside from one I didn't mention, is bumping up Legionnaire. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, so I will keep you posted if I decide to do an update to this. Triple Allure, Draw power, pretty self-explanatory. I do not like Pot of Desires. I do not want to play Pot of Desires. I think it's kind of a win-more card, and I think that it's just not great. That's just my opinion. Obviously, you can't play Extravagance. I could play Upstart, but there's really not much of a need. I think 3 Allure is okay. I mean, the deck has some search power. Being able to get into the deck and access more of your cards would be great, but I don't want to play Desires. I just find it to be just not... It just does, in my opinion, doesn't work as well with the deck, but I guess everyone's going to have their own opinions on that. Triple Thunder Dragon Fusion, standard for the deck. Fusion Summon, also banish from grave to search, so it's got a lot of really good applications. Triple Instant Fusion, again, I mean, this is the MVP card of the deck. Everyone who's played the deck, especially now, will tell you. There are some cool combos with Cross Sheep, too, and, like, Thousand Eyes Restrict, so you can outboards and still be able to maximize it, depending on where you're at in the game state. But, of course, this is primarily, you get your Kaminari attack out, you can make an additional Titan, and put some pressure on the opponent. So I would play 6 Instant Fusion if I could, although that would suck to draw, I guess. And then triple Super Poly, I have gone back and forth on whether or not I want to main this. I do think it's a good enough out, especially because you do have Lupine and stuff, so you do have ways to just, a dark and a dark for Starving Venom. But I'm playing, and I'll show you the extra deck when we get there, but I'm playing 3 Super Poly targets. It's just a really good card, and I can side it out, so I'm not, devastatingly worried about maining it. And then just a couple 1-ups. Gold Sark, pretty standard. Avarice, I know that you do banish a lot, but, like, it's not hard to make this live either, especially a little bit later in the game. Thunder Dragon himself can put multiple copies of a card in grave, and not that I'd often want to put everything back, but even with the hand traps and Nibiru and how fast you really can cycle through the deck, it's worth playing, in my opinion. And then I'm playing the 1 Monster Reborn. I don't know. I don't love it. It was just a 40th card, to be totally honest. Or 41. I'm really not sure. I might be. If I'm at 41, which I might be at, if someone's going to notice this in the video, then I'm going to miss out. But if I'm at 41, I'll just cut this entirely. If I'm at 40 still, I don't know. I'll take suggestions on this. I guess I could just put Upstart in instead and make it an 39 cards, so it's less to have to search through. But that's the lineup. I mean, the monsters do so much themselves that it's hardly necessary to really maximize it with spells, but you could definitely find some other things to play, I'm sure. So for the extra deck, Triple Titan, rocking only 1 secret right now. I'm hoping to pick up a couple more. I'm not a huge fan of the Ultra. And then the 1 Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. So, like, this had a silly buyout for some reason. It is pretty good, though, because it does sort of allow you to set up combos, as well as, get into Titan faster and have a way to shuffle your Thunder Dragons back in deck if you only have the 2. I like it. It definitely does, its intended purpose well enough. And then I got instant fusion targets, so I got 2 Kaminari attack, 1 Thousand Eyes Restrict. A lot of people are playing Millennium Eyes. I'll be totally honest, I probably would play it if I had it. I just don't have it right now. I can't bring myself to invest in it, considering it will be reprinted. So we'll wait on the price to drop on that, and then I'll find a spot for them as we go along there. And then I also have, I want to play the Linkuriboh as well. It's just space, right? So being able to go into Linkuriboh is great. In theory, and I'll show you the rest of the extra deck here, playing Super Poly and playing 3 Super Poly targets is really where the problem is coming in for me in terms of space. I could see cutting this entirely because it seems kind of unnecessary, and so I'd probably go Linkuriboh there. Mud Dragon and Starving Venom are, the 2 best Super Poly targets, and as long as I'm maining it, I do need to have those. But I wanted to, there's some combos you can do with this, so, like, you summon this, you take your opponent's monster, you make Cross Sheep, you instant fusion, you bring this back, you take another monster, and then you can link ladder up and make a Titan. So there's definitely some, cute plays you can do, but I also feel like just having access to Linkuriboh is probably good to, if I don't have the other Thunder pieces or a way to make Cross Sheep, at least I can out a monster and not have to worry about this card just sort of disappearing. For the rest of the links, I play 3 Link 2s just for resource recovery plays. Obviously, Summoner is pretty self-explanatory. Lambda's good, and Sheep I like a lot. I understand that, Sheep is a little weaker, but Lambda's good. And if I did, I'm going to side Gammas, I think. 3 Gamma, 1 Driver. So having access to that, especially, with the banished nature of the deck, is probably make Lambda even better, but that's what I'm working with right now. And then, I don't know, I'm playing 1 Nightmare Unicorn and 1 Borreload. You could really play, any 4 you want. I guess Boral Sword is okay, too, OTK power and whatnot, but I do like Borreload. I did end up going with this one over it, simply because it's immunity to monster effects, and the fact that it can out a lot of problem cards still. This can get over Abramax, whereas Boral Sword cannot, so it gives me some additional ways to deal with that maybe I'm not able to otherwise. So that's exactly 15, and I'm sure there's stuff you're going to notice that you'd suggest fixing or changing. Always appreciate the feedback. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know what you think, what tweaks you might make, and do you think Thunder Dragon still has a shot to be somewhat viable in the upcoming formats? As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time right here at Love Shack with another video.